So this episode of Reborn to Master the Blade really centered around one thing, which was the introduction of this Archlord. I think I wrote down his name here. Archlord something. Archlord Lord Evil. Oh wow! I just realized that his name is literally evil, but they just kind of messed with where the letters are, but they used the 4 letters of evil. Wow. Okay, so anyways, he's the representation or the embodiment of evil of one of the Highlanders. He comes to the lower lands, and essentially at the end of the episode reveals that he's actually not there to make a deal for the land or to take the Hyrule Menace, nor does he really care about that. He's there to pass judgment based on the holiness, which is like the leader of the Highlanders or whatever. Basically, that dude's just pissed for, I don't know, whatever reason. Maybe a lot of the events that have happened so far this season with the inability to actually take the land that they were supposed to before, maybe with the mana flow, mana absorption. There could be so many different things that's caused his frustration or her frustration, whatever the holiness is or whoever that person is. But regardless, they're pissed, so they come just to kind of pass judgment or basically just flaunt a showing of power. And that's really why the Archlord was here, which, again, he revealed to us at the end of the episode. So, again, the episode really focused on just kind of initiating us and introducing us to this Archlord person, which they did pretty well. Really enjoyed this episode as far as, well, I enjoyed about half of this episode. The other half of the episode, it was okay. It's just kind of like a context drop. You know, essentially what I mean when I say context drop is essentially it's one of those episodes that really acts to kind of give us context as to what some things happen. This one really focused on Silva. I'll talk about that in one moment, but I really loved the last half of the episode where essentially we have Ronnie and Chris, or Ronnie and Inglis, and they were pretending to be maids of the king's castle. They go there to work part-time to go and infiltrate and everything. And I love how they spent their time in the maid outfits. I love getting the fan service. I love how they were eating there. I think that was a really cute moment. And then everything starts to go down with the introduction of this Archlord, or this Archlord kid, Lord Evil guy. And he basically comes out and he flaunts his power a little bit when the magic site beasts attack. He flaunts his power a little bit. He has Chris hold one of the dudes that attacked him from the Stormblood or Storefront or Steelblood Front or whatever they're called. He basically yeets this dude in half. Then he takes the king's arm. Things kind of like they fall into place a little bit, and this obviously involves Inglis at some point to say, you know what? Take my arm. Let's see if you could take my arm. Take my arm. And, Ronnie's like, yo, what the F? He's like, and really Inglis was just at this point wanting to see, like, okay, I want to see what this dude's, what's this dude's whole thing about? Let me see his power. Let me check him a little bit. And she does, so she controls her ether flow, and he basically can't penetrate Inglis, like, at all. And he gets incredibly angry. And he gets so angry to the point that he yells at Inglis, like, just strike me. And the king stops her because he's like, we can't have this. He's gonna, he'll eradicate our whole lands. So I think next episode, regardless of whatever the king wants or not, I think we will get to the point to where Inglis will show her power a little bit and probably scare the F out of this dude. But I think that's going to be kind of the next step. I think that would be really, really hilarious and funny. And then after that, he revealed the plan of he's not really there for the Hyrule Menace. And then basically, I think they're just going to take the land that this king was on regardless. Again, as a showing of power. And maybe there'll be some defense that Inglis and Ronnie and them can kind of like provide. But at some point, when I look at the episode, this was episode number 10. We have a total of 12 episodes. We have 2 episodes left. We have 11 and we have 12 left. At some point, I hope that before we get to the end of the season, maybe even the last episode, I hope that Inglis can like yeet herself up to this Highlander's land. And see what the F is really going on up there. I would really love for that to happen before the end of the season. But, obviously I can see the writing on the wall. We have this land being kind of taken up a little bit. And then we have the Steelblood Front, which made their appearance at the beginning of the episode, which hasn't appeared yet. So we have to assume that next week's episode is the land being taken up and then the Steelblood Front really making their appearance next episode. So maybe the last episode of the season, we can maybe have a teaser, or maybe we get the ending of the season ending with Inglis stepping on Highlander land or something. Maybe she meets this holiness person. hopefully something of that nature actually occurs, 'cause I think that would be a really cool, like, bring up the stakes quite a bit. I would love to see that before the season ends. But the first part of the episode, like I said, I'll cover it. The first part of the episode was really just talking about the Steel Blood Front, Leone versus Leon, and kind of the Steel Blood Front revealing their plans and how much they really know. I'm guessing the leader of the Steel Blood Front is probably somebody who got excommunicated from the Highlanders. Could even be a descendant of Inglis herself. Maybe it could be somebody of like the royal blood who decided to come down to lower land, to kind of lead this brigade against the Highlanders. I'm assuming that the person behind the mask is somebody like that. But they reveal their plans to everybody. They reveal how much they know. And then we get Silva, which is the blue-haired kid. We get his backstory, which was very, very long-winded. Essentially, it's, the very long and short of it is he was saved by Lady Ripple at some point when he was a kid. And that moment and what she said has stuck with him the whole time, to where his whole life's motivation is to, work up his way to be in Lady Ripple's care and partner and stuff like that. But that whole thing took like 7 minutes, 5 minutes. It was a really long-winded story, and I was like, okay then. So I thought that was a very interesting theme. The last thing I'll comment on is I think this episode, the other thing I think it did really well was just really, reestablish to us, the viewer, of, the difference in power between the Highlanders and the lower folk. And this really showed them pandering and being played like a fiddle by the Highlanders. Again, them fearing the power that the Highlanders wield. It even had the king himself in this scene admitting that he is the fool, or he is a fool, and so are all of his people, just to appease the Highlanders to, continue living their lives. Obviously, the king's the highest of power in this specific case. He does have a special rune, so he is pretty powerful as well. But in all things, in the aspects of the world, he's powerless. So this just showed us the different power gap between people of the lower lands and the Highlanders, which could be eradicated by a lot of different things, including bringing some technology up, downwards, and around. So overall, really good episode. Just the like a small piece of the episode, I was like, it's context building, but it's kind of boring. But the rest of it I thought was really, really good, and I like how they made the Lord Evil guy literally evil and with this stupid little face. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. Sad we only have 2 episodes left, especially when we have a bunch of garbage storylines, and we finally get to a good one, and then we realize that we're about to end the season, and there may never be a season 2. I think that sucks. But regardless, let me know what you guys thought. All right, see you guys next week. Peace.